All right, welcome. Today we are diving into a true icon, the old-fashioned. It's one of those drinks that seems so simple, but, getting it just right, that's a real art form. So in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what makes it so timeless and give you all the keys to making the perfect one right at home.
This quote really just hits the nail on the head. The absolute genius of an old-fashioned isn't some crazy long list of ingredients you can't find. Nope. It's all about taking a few simple, high-quality things and letting them shine. It's total proof that sometimes the simplest things are actually the most sophisticated.
So let's get right into it. What actually goes into a perfect old-fashioned? Well, it all comes down to 4 essential pillars. If you get these 4 things right, you are absolutely golden. First up, and honestly this is the most important part, the whiskey. This is the heart and soul of the entire drink. Everything else we add is just there to complement the character of a really great bourbon or rye. And here's the number 1 rule, it is non-negotiable. If you wouldn't enjoy sipping it neat, it does not belong in your old-fashioned. Period.
Next, we need a little bit of sweetener. Now, we're not trying to make a sugary, sweet drink here, not at all. The whole point is to add just a touch of sweetness that balances out the whiskey, kind of rounding out any of those sharp edges, but without covering up all that amazing flavor.
Then come the bitters. You should really think of these as the spice rack for your cocktail. Just a couple of dashes of something aromatic, like the classic Angostura bitters, adds this incredible layer of complexity and depth that it ties the whole drink together.
And finally, we have the garnish and the ice. Let me tell you that orange peel is so much more than just a pretty decoration. When you twist it, or express it, over the glass, you're releasing all these bright aromatic oils, and that completely elevates the experience. And the big ice cube? It's crucial. It melts way slower, so it chills your drink perfectly without watering it down too fast. It's all about slow, deliberate sipping.
So, we've got our ingredients, now let's talk about actually building the drink. It's a really simple process, but don't let that fool you. Every single step is there for a reason. And hey, you don't need a professional bar setup to nail this. All you really need are these 5 simple tools: a good rocks glass, a bar spoon for stirring, a jigger for measuring, a peeler for your garnish, and, if you're going old school with a sugar cube, a muddler. That's it.
The method is just beautifully straightforward. First, you combine your sweetener and your bitters right in the glass. If you're using a sugar cube, you'll want to muddle it with a tiny splash of water until it's all dissolved. Then, in goes the whiskey, followed by your big ice cube. Now, the stir, this is so important. About 20 to 30 seconds is all you need to chill the drink and add just the right amount of dilution. And for the final flourish, you express that orange peel right over the top to release those amazing oils, and then you just drop it in.
A drink this iconic doesn't just appear out of thin air. The old-fashioned has a really rich history. It evolved from this simple bartender's formula into the absolute American classic that we know and love today.
So way back in the early 1800s, this was just known as a whiskey cocktail. Super simple: spirit, sugar, water, and bitters. But then, as bartenders started getting more creative with new liqueurs and crazy ingredients, the loyal customers started asking for the drink made the old-fashioned way. And just like that, the name stuck. Its origins are often traced back to Louisville, Kentucky, and today it is an absolute cornerstone of cocktail culture all over the world. And here's the real beauty of a simple drink. It is so easy to make it your own. You should think of the classic recipe as your starting point. The real fun begins when you start to tweak it and dial it in to match your own personal taste. Your choice of whiskey is probably the biggest decision you're going to make here. If you go with a bourbon, you'll get a sweeter, rounder cocktail. Think notes of vanilla and caramel. But if you swap that out for a rye, you get a completely different drink. It's spicier, it's drier, and it's got a little more of a kick. Same recipe, totally different experience.
The same kind of choice applies to your sweetener. It's really just a matter of preference. A muddled sugar cube is the classic, old-school way to do it, and some purists really love that little bit of texture it leaves behind. On the other hand, simple syrup gives you that modern consistency. It dissolves instantly for a perfectly smooth drink every single time.
And hey, just a quick fun fact for anyone who might be curious, a standard old-fashioned comes in at right around 150 calories.
And that really gets to the soul of this cocktail, doesn't it? It's a template for perfection. So what's it going to be for you? A sweet, smooth bourbon? Or a spicy, assertive rye? A rustic sugar cube? Or silky, smooth, simple syrup? See, the classic recipe is just the beginning. The truly perfect version? is the one you craft for yourself. So the only question left is, what's in your perfect old-fashioned?